Welcome to the podcast Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert and I host this podcast with my friend Gary. Join us today as we dive deep and share meaningful stories and discuss values that help shape our lives. We will explore how we use these values to guide us through life, shaping our decisions, our relationships, and raising our kids. We are embracing a journey of personal growth and navigating our own paths. We are committed to living by these values and passing them on to our children. We are thrilled to have you here today and can't wait to share our latest episodes. Whether you're a longtime listener or just now discovering us, welcome. Check us out or visit our website, northmancoaching.com, and feel free to introduce yourselves in the comments. You're welcome to join our community, Northman Legacy Crew, and let us know what topics you're most interested in hearing about. Sign up with your email for behind-the-scenes sneak peeks and exciting updates. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Happy listening. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about credibility. And credibility is defined as the quality of being believed or accepted as true, real, and honest.
Credibility is an important value for several reasons: trust building, influence and persuasion, reputation, conflict resolution, effective communication, leadership, long-term success, and personal integrity. Overall, credibility is vital for building trust, influencing others, and establishing a strong reputation, making it an essential value in both personal and professional contexts.
The first bullet point is trust building, and that fosters trust between individuals and groups. When we perceive someone as credible, they are more likely to believe in their intentions, ideas, and actions. Hey Gary, when did you become aware that you needed to build trust?
I guess I became aware after my divorce. I realized that I wasn't the authentic person that I am now. So my friends were, who I was, I guess, just not real people. And I knew that I wanted deeper relationships, deeper conversations. So I knew that I needed to start becoming more credible and building trust with people as the real me.
And what did it look like before compared to now?
So before, I had tons of friends. I mean, it was like any TV show, barbecue where all the guys hanging out, with drinking beers, and the women doing whatever they're doing, and go out bowling with the guys. But these guys were not my real friends. They were, I don't know, it was all like a game of who's better than the other one, who's doing this. And none of it was real. And then when I got divorced, nobody wanted to take sides. I certainly did not want to take sides. I guess it was a mutual thing where we just severed the relationship. Now that I feel like I'm credible, I have very few friends, but they are quality friends. They are friends that I can open up to and tell anything to. They will listen and they won't judge. And it's far better to have a few quality friends than a bunch of people that are just there.
And what did you do to start building trust in yourself and in your friends?
To start, I had to find people like me that were like-minded. And so when I joined my first men's group, I was a bit shy or hesitant at first on who I was talking to and what I was saying or opening up about. You were the first person, I think, that was not a coach at the time that I opened up to. And I met you down in Nashville and come to you more than anybody with wins and challenges, because that is the person that I know you are, that you can take what I tell you and you will not judge me for what I've done or about to do or whatever. Can you tell me what was it like for you? Well, do you feel like you were always trustworthy or you were always credible?
No. I read the book, The Four Agreements, and he talked about your words are like magic. They can be either used for good or they can be used for bad. I remember him talking about like gossiping about people is something that my mom and family did a lot. And even at work, they gossip about people. And that's when I was aware that in order to be a better person, I can't gossip about people anymore. Or I need to slowly stop, because it erodes people's ability to trust me if I will gossip.
And if you gossip too much, then people won't be able to build trust in you.
Yeah.
They'll be afraid to come and tell you things.
Yes.
So our second bullet point was influence and persuasion. Credible individuals have a greater ability to influence and persuade others. Their expertise and reliability make their opinions and suggestions more impactful. Rob, when have you felt like you've had a positive influence over others?
I don't really know, brother. This is hard. I don't know that I've ever thought about this. I mean, because I know I do have a positive influence over others.
I mean, number one, your daughter.
Yes, my daughter. And
I mean, I don't know who you are at work exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So if I come to you with a situation and I know you're not going to judge me and you're not going to gossip And whatever my problem was, you make it better, or you help me you empower me to think of things in a different way, or you give me the advice that I need. Now I'm in a positive mood, or more positive, because I've received what I was looking for from you. I know that the next time I have an issue, I will be coming back to you because you have that positive influence. I know if I go to the other guy over there, he's going to talk bad about me. He's going to judge me, or he's going to tell everybody at work what I'm having an issue with. But I know that I can trust you. I know you won't judge me, and I know that there'll be no gossip, and you will give it to me straight. Therefore, I will leave you in a positive way, and you have that influence over me.
So when you do that, though, your second question is: have you felt like you were able to persuade others? Just because you have a positive influence over other people,
okay,
doesn't mean that I'm able to persuade them.
I personally think that, Rob, that we are both positive influencers doing this podcast. All the listeners that we've had, you can't tell me that I can tell you that not one could have possibly finished in any of the episodes and did not feel positive. And that is because of us. So we are both positive influencers at this point in our life.
Okay. The quote is, credibility is a leader's currency. With it, he or she is the solvent. Without it, he or she is bankrupt. By John C. Maxwell.
It's good, right? Deep.
And that kind of ties into the next bullet point of reputation. Credibility contributes to a positive reputation. A credible person or organization is often viewed as reliable, ethical, which can have a long-lasting relationships and opportunities. When did your reputation start to matter to you?
I think it actually matters less and less the older I get.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, well, let me finish first. I feel like back in the day when I was younger, when I was a kid or teenager, 20s, 30s, whatever, I don't know, that I wanted to impress people. I wanted friends. They didn't have to be real friends. I just wanted friends, people in my life. But as I, started realizing that I needed to, become more credible and build trust, and I wanted real friends, quality people in my life. That's when I realized that I want to make my reputation good with those few people, versus when I had tons of friends that were not deep, or whatever the word you're looking for. I cared. I did things. I for people. I was a good guy, a people pleaser. I did things to make people like me. So it would seem that I cared more about my reputation when I was younger, I think.
Now, when I read that question, I think I thought exactly like you did.
Okay.
I posted something on our Northman Legacy crew. Yeah. And I made a comment that one of the guys said to me, your behavior is your legacy. Really what that is saying in this case is your reputation is your legacy to your child, to your friends, to your family, to your grandkids. I know that me and you both are very cautious and conscious how we act in front of our kids. Because our reputation in front of them matter.
Yes.
And as you build this reputation of being the authentic Gary dad, when it comes to your grandkids, you will have a reputation of being the authentic granddad. And you will work to keep that reputation. And it will matter to you every day to make sure you stay the authentic Gary granddad.
Gotcha.
I didn't say that right.
No, it was good. It's funny though, because the two questions that we have here kind of go hand in hand.
Yes.
So the next question for the listeners is, what did you do to improve your reputation? And I think that what I was saying the first time with the first question was that I cared more about my reputation when I was younger, but it wasn't me. It was unauthentic. It was just, I'm out to please you and you can be my friend. You're my friend, right? We're friends, right? Yes. Say yes. Now I'm more concerned that the right people know who I am, like you, like my daughter, people that matter in my life that will look up to me or look back at the legacy I left behind when I'm gone. And it's like, yeah, he had a good reputation. He was a credible man.
I want to be known to my daughter as the benevolent father almost. And to the grandkids, etc., etc. I want to be known that way. And so my reputation is ongoing for as long as I live. And I will have to strive to improve that reputation every day. It means making little improvements every day. I'll find something and I'll have to improve upon it.
And is that for your reputation or is that for you personally?
It's both because it's my reputation. It is for me to display that outwards, not for me to say, hey, daughter, am I being the benevolent father you want me to be?
Because so as far as being better every day, I agree with you for both, but I very rarely do I think about my reputation. I mean, we're talking about it now because of this, the notes we have and what we're doing, but everything I do to improve myself, it's always for me. But in turn, so I can be a better father, a better boyfriend or just a better man in general. And that, I guess, is my reputation. So I just don't use the word a lot, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So the next bullet point we have, Rob, is conflict resolution. In disagreements, credibility can play a significant role in resolving conflicts. When all parties involved trust each other's integrity and knowledge, it's easier to find a common ground. Totally true, I believe. If me and you are the only two involved in this conflict, and we trust that we both have integrity and we both have knowledge, we're both doing this work. I trust that you have integrity and knowledge, and I come to you all the time with questions. You have the knowledge. So if I know that you are a man of integrity and you can answer the questions that I'm going to ask, then I know that if we are in some kind of a disagreement or a conflict on whatever, whether it's what podcast to do next or what the website should look like, I know that we can figure it out and get to a common ground that will benefit both of us instead of someone, finagling or not being honest with the other one to get all that they want.
So, but how do you use credibility in a situation where the other partner may not be credible?
I would have to be in that situation because I feel like if I'm in an argument with you and you're not a credible person, I'm not going to waste my time arguing with you. I'll walk away. But if it's life or death, I'd have to understand the situation better, like actually be in there. Or if we had a guest on today that could tell us this, this story, a story around this, I could probably better answer that.
I never handled conflict resolution very well in the past.
Okay.
And I think was partly I couldn't trust people outside of myself. And I couldn't resolve conflict very easily. I held on to resentment. It plays an important part who the other party is, but knowing that I'm credible enough that as the conflict ends, I will accept outcome without resentment. That's the credibility that I have learned in this. Because if I couldn't accept the outcome and be credible enough to say, hey, well, that's the outcome. If I held on to it, that's not really being true to who I want to be.
Well, you talk about the conflict resolution that you were not good with that in the past.
Yes.
We had in one of the previous episodes, we talked about, I forget what the value was, but we talked about how back when I was a manager of restaurants, that I was not a good manager because I was a nice guy, people pleaser, and that's not good management material. And I would probably do far better now that I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the conflict resolution part of that, I was not a credible person. Mm-hmm. And like in the restaurants, I needed this done and that done. And I would tell the people that I wanted to do it, and they would run around in circles with different things that were better options that they thought they had. And I no, I want to do it this way. And they would say, well, we could do it this, and that. And I get to the point where I was like, okay. Because in the end, they said, we'll have the job done. Okay. And then when it wasn't done properly and we failed an inspection or whatever, it was on me. But because I was such a nice guy, I played the blame game. I did not accept the responsibility. Like, well, I had those guys do it. People were looking at me like, you're the boss. So that made that right there. Actually, it's like a snowball. I was not credible at work. And then I go home to my wife and kid, and it would snowball into not credible there.
Actually, you bring up a good point. Credibility in conflict resolution is being willing to accept the blame.
Absolutely. I mean, but you should accept the blame or the consequences or the rewards for everything that you do.
Yep.
And we're going to go down a rabbit hole again, but
I know.
That's fine. It has a lot to do with being credible. Like I didn't accept responsibility for anything. I took the rewards. Hell, I probably take rewards for stuff that you did that I don't take credit for it.
Yep.
But I'm nowadays, I give credit where credit is due, and I accept the responsibility for the things that I've done well or not well. It's a lesson you're learning in life.
I have found sometimes I can end a conversation, a disagreement, when I just say, "Oh yeah, it's my fault. I need to do better. I'm working on it." Because the
Okay.
other person has no leg to stand on after that fact. It is like, yes, I'm at fault. I understand that I did something wrong. I'm working on it. That's it. That's all they want to hear, really. They don't need, well, this is the problem. This is the blame. This person here forgot to come into work, etc., etc. They start telling themselves stories and they go off on a track.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep somebody else from telling themselves stories, it's almost just as easy to say, "Hey, I got this handled. Don't worry. I got it."
Okay.
Conflict resolution. I can handle this.
I just think sometimes I'm handling this is not enough. Sometimes from certain people, I want to know what that means.
Mm.
Usually that means like my daughter, we'll start with her. Like, I can do this. Okay. How are you going to do this? Because I want to know step by step if it's going to be an effective method, or do I need to step in? This episode is brought to you by Northman Coaching and their Oak Value Cards. Are you looking for a little boost in motivation and self-improvement? If so, then check out our Oak Value Cards and empower yourself with our motivational and insightful core value cards. Enter promo code CREDIBILITY for 10% off of your order.
All right. And the next bullet point we are coming up with: effective communication. Credibility enhances communication. When speakers are perceived as credible, their messages are taken seriously, leading to better engagement and understanding. There was a quote that we used a couple podcasts ago about the one who knows the most says little versus the one who.
Yeah, I know you're saying. I forget what it was, but you know what that was? What value that was?
I don't know what value that was. I'll go back and look if you.
I can tell you right now.
Okay.
What's the bullet point you're reading?
Communication. Doggone it.
Yep. And that's the same one that I was talking about, me being a manager in the restaurants.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me pull up that bullet point. Here it is. And it's by Plato. And the quote is, "Wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools talk because they have to say something," by Plato.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what that effective communication really, that's how it stuck out to me. So
yeah. And it's actually funny because with the election coming up, you look at the candidates and they're up on that stage during debates or speeches, and they, obviously their speech is all written and they're on the thing in front of them, the teleprompter, but they communicate pretty effectively. So they are perceived as credible to us. That they have power and they're good and whatnot. Of course, you should fact check everything you hear, but they are perceived that way when they have a good speech. And the next bullet point is leadership. Credibility is essential for effective leadership. Leaders who are seen as credible can inspire and motivate their teams, fostering loyalty and commitment. So, Rob, you consider yourself a leader?
No, I consider myself an overlord versus a leader. An overlord is like a manager. You watch over. You do lead, but it's more like you lead from behind the group, I guess. Behind the scenes leader. Not necessarily am I out front going, "Yay, let's go into battle" kind of deal.
Okay.
I'm more like, you got this. You can do it. There's another step coming up. I always wanted to be a good leader. I have taken a lot of leadership courses at work to become a manager or a supervisor. And it's funny because back then I wanted to be a manager and supervise other people. But as soon as I did this work and I taught the dentist, I was like, it wasn't until after this men's work that I really felt that I had the skill set to be a better leader.
So I do consider myself a leader in certain situations. And back to like when you said that you took courses on how to be a better leader. Like when I was managing restaurants and first starting managing restaurants, I was reading like books on how to be a better manager, a better leader, and just all the stuff to be in charge, I guess. And none of it hit me. It didn't. I just didn't understand all the anything in the book that could help me. And that's where I just kind of was like, forget it. I'm not a leader. I'm not a good manager. But the minute that I started doing the work on me, for me, made me realize that I can be a leader, and I am a leader when I know the subject. So I can't be a leader. I can, once I'm given instruction, I can lead a group of people to do this, what I was given. Or if it's talking about coaching, I can lead that talk. If it's about delivering mail, I can lead that talk. But if it's about working on Model Ts or cars in general, I cannot lead you anywhere with that talk. Because when you want the wrench and I give you the hammer, you're going to know that gig's up. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. Do I consider myself a leader? Sometimes. Yes and no, if that makes sense. As far as have I always been a leader? No, not at all, in the least. And just, by starting this work on me to fix my marriage, crazy. That's what started. That's what I did to become a better leader, because now I'm able to lead my own life. So therefore, I can lead others. And that's something I want to throw out. If you can't lead your own life, you should not be leading others.
Yes. And the next bullet point is long-term success. Credibility in business and personal endeavors often lead to long-term success. It encourages repeat businesses, referrals, and sustained partnerships. When you start becoming credible, you kind of want to hang out with other incredible people.
I completely agree. And I've said that earlier, the having plenty of friends or tons of friends that weren't real. Now I prefer having a few friends that are real.
All right. And the last bullet point is personal integrity. Being credible aligns with personal integrity and ethics. It encourages individuals to act in ways that are consistent with their values, fostering accountability. Where is your integrity right now?
Like, are you asking me where on a scale, or where in town? It's at the pizza shop. Right now, my integrity is high. And I'm going to tell you that main reason is because I am consistent with my values. If anything else, I am consistent with my values. So I think my integrity is high. And side note on that, to think that before we came up with these cards, a few months prior to even the birth of the idea, I had no idea what a value was.
Yeah.
And now I live by them. I'm like, and I'm serious. It's like my Bible almost, Yeah. So where's my value? Where's my value? Where's my integrity right now? My integrity is high, if that's the answer you're looking for. How about your integrity?
Oh, yeah, it's high. And I have to agree with you. If it wasn't for these cards and actually learning how to find value in my life, and actually going over these cards right now, credibility, when we first opened this and was going down this, I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't know how I use this in my life. But now at the end of 45 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, I'm a credible person. Yeah, I live my life to the fullest. Yeah, I live my life where people trust me. I'm a man of my word. I do things that I'm credible to myself. I live by my values. I hold them dear. I know I didn't put this one first on my list. Credibility, that wouldn't have been top card.
Yeah, I don't think it was in my top 20, honestly. But yeah, you're right. After doing all this work for this one episode, I understand credibility far more than I did, a week ago, even a year ago. It is it is a value of mine. It's a pretty important value, and it's why would you not want to be a credible person? Why would you not want to hang around credible people?
But you may not think about it every day. But
I
because you follow your values every day, this value is like one of those behind the scene values that creeps in and says, hey, if you don't keep up with your values, you're not going to be credible, etc., etc. And it's just behind the scenes working. And so every day your reputation, every day your leadership skills, every day your communication skills build on your credibility. And that will just slowly build to be better and better and better. And then one day you will become the great man that you want to be. And it's all building on that incredibility.
And when that's over, it now becomes legacy.
Yes, exactly. If you would like to go further or deeper and knowing how to be more credible in your life, reach out to us. We want to know and hear your powerful story. Chat or connect with us by booking your free session on our website, northmancoaching.com. And folks, that's a wrap on today's episode. And of course, thank you all out there for listening. We're so glad you could join us today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Living by Oak Values. If you feel generous, leave us a review. It really helps us out and keeps these conversations going. For more updates and exclusive content, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or visit our website, northmancoaching.com. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode that you don't want to miss. Until then, keep discussing your values, embracing the journey, take care, and stay authentic.